sauce gang, and welcome back to the channel. Hot Sauce Beats here with another dope reaction that y'all have been requesting for about the past 3-4 days, and I mean a lot. And we are talking about Animagician's brand new video, Grian's lore on HermitCraft is insane! That is right, fam. We are back with another Animagician reaction, but this time it's not to Dream SMP. No, my friends. It is to Grian and HermitCraft, and I am beyond hyped for this. I've never really heard much theories on HermitCraft, so I'm kind of stoked to see what Animagician thinks, because we all know some weird stuff's been going on in HermitCraft Season 9, and especially with Grian's builds, like the entity and the rocks and more rocks and Mother Nature and blah, 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 blah. But I hope you enjoy this, but before we jump into it, show Animagician some love and subscribe to his channel. And if you enjoy my reaction, please help support the channel by smashing that subscribe and like button. It's absolutely free and it greatly helps out the channel. But enough talking, let's get to reacting and roll that bomb ass intro.
Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Eat, sleep, make beats. Eat, sleep, make beats.
Hot Sauce Beats. Woo woo. Oh, Grian, HermitCraft lore. Begin.
HermitCraft's lore has always been very in your face. Moon big, a civil war, a giant floating mushroom island. It's hard to miss. More importantly though, it's always been very clearly separated from the actual content of the season. Sure, Mumbo can build a shrine to the moon, but the story of the moon itself doesn't really have any implications on his mega base, his shops, or anything similar. Until now.
I think that's definitely, I mean, he's about to tell me something, but that's definitely something that has separated, right, Dream SMP from HermitCraft. Where Dream SMP is very drama related, almost like a sitcom, lot of lore, you know, in your face, blah, 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 right now, where HermitCraft's more centered around building, shenanigans, fun, and every now and then they sprinkle a little lore on like some salt. Just take some of that lore.
As of writing this video, Grian just released his 9th episode of HermitCraft Season 9, and at first, everything seems to be going as normal.
And real quick, if you guys did not know, I do react to Grian, Scar, Mumbo, and B-Dubs on Twitch, and you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/HotSauceBeats402. So I'm caught up on HermitCraft.
As the video progresses, however, weird things start happening, and it all starts with the sponsor segment. Grian is doing a bit where Scar, or as his name on the cover of the book suggests, GTW Scar, is the narrator of an audiobook titled Landscaping Your Mind, with each chapter telling you quite literally,
it basically plays audio and tells you exactly what to do with your life.
Okay, that could just be for a bit a funny reference to how Scar landscapes things. No matter, let's keep moving forward. The second bit of weirdness, however, comes in the form of Mumbo. Mumbo, who has just joined the HermitCraft server again after a well-deserved month-long break, has two main things about him that stick out as odd, if not downright sus. First, he's no longer playing HermitCraft on his main account, the one with the username Mumbo Jumbo, and is instead on...
What? How? How did I not realize that? Bruh! Like, we've literally reacted to every Mumbo video on Twitch this season. God, apparently I don't pay attention to the details.
What used to be his camera account, which just has the username Mumbo. We'll get back to that in a second, because the symbolism is pretty crazy, but this second thing is even more interesting. You see, for a while in Season 8, Mumbo did this bit where he started to take the saying, "you are what you eat," a bit too seriously. He ate nothing but potatoes and became a potato hybrid of himself. He switched over to carrots and suddenly he was bright orange. Ate a pork chop and turned into a pig. And finally, he consumed Grian's soul. At first, Mumbo thought this just reset him back to normal. Consuming a human soul had made him human again. But this wasn't the case. He had, in fact, become a tad more like Grian, and to reflect this, his skin had one very distinct change.
On the back of his
it had
head.
Grian's signature waffle on the back. Coming back to HermitCraft Season 9, Mumbo's Minecraft character now has this same skin, the one where he's part Grian, and it's not by mistake either. A quick look at Mumbo's name.
I don't even know if I realized that either. He has the waffle on?
Shows that
it's the waffle! Okay, so he's still part
He had his normal skin on for a while before this, but then switched to this skin deliberately. Okay, this is starting to get a bit weird. Let's go back to Grian then and talk about the elephant in the room. From the start of this season, Grian has been building structures and buildings with a story in mind, and he's even told us that there's a story he wants to tell with these builds. It started with what he calls the Entity, a boulder that contains a heart of the sea that Grian says is alive. It functions as a shop and gradually grows and sprouts extra additions to itself as more items are sold in the shop, almost drawing from that power. Then, Grian built the Rift, a glowing purple portal of sorts.
And chat, this Rift, this is gonna be super spooky. Like, so I'm guessing, right, is this Rift is gonna be like a quote-unquote portal that things come out. And also, this is literally right underneath his base. Like, perfectly beneath his base. So, and then his base is these massive rocks, and some of them are floating up in the air. And I remember, I think, was it right after he built it? It was sometime before Mumbo came back, and I don't know if it was like a joke, but when we were, so I racked to this live on Twitch, and we noticed, like, legit Mumbo was in here. Like, you could see his mustache, his eyes, super weird. And Grian, whenever he's down here, he acts a little sus. So I've talked about this on my reactions to this season, that I do think some big stuff's gonna happen. So I'm glad Animagician came out with this, because I agree. I think weird lore, crazy stuff is gonna happen this season.
That I think he described best himself.
It's mysterious, it's ominous, and who knows what's going to come out of it.
But hold on a second. This isn't just your ordinary spawn hundreds of demonic beings portal. No, there's something more here. Something that I actually saw first on Reddit. Take a closer look at this still from the video. See anything yet? Okay, let me zoom a bit and up the
it was more obvious. I think it might have been
so you can see it clearer. There, in the middle of this self-proclaimed portal.
So you really can't see it that good here. Or actually, no, there you can, right there. So there's an eye, there's the mustache. There was, again, I don't remember which video of Grian's it was, but you could see it almost clear as day. It was still hazy, but then the next episode, it was gone, bruh. Like, it's really weird.
There's a Mumbo mustache.
There's definitely a Mumbo mustache.
Okay, there's more though, because this mustache seemingly disappeared later. Not in the next episode, as it was just a funny gag for a few episodes, but in the one after that, the episode in which the owner of that mustache finally joined the server again. Interesting,
I did not realize
there's more to be brought up here. You see, Grian's pretty well versed in his time lapses, and over the years I've been watching his videos, there's only one major problem, or mistake rather, that I can remember him making. That mistake is pretty trivial. He forgets to turn the chat off so the hermit's chatting while he builds can cover up a part of the screen. Nothing crazy, right? Then, however, consider how much of a coincidence it is that for the first time in literally years, that Grian forgets to start recording his replay for a build. That build is another portal above his massive mega base rock, a mega base which has similar properties to the Entity.
Yeah, I mean, can we just admire? I mean, you can't see the. I mean, you know where the portal's at, but it's not like activated. But can we just admire this nether portal? This is so dope, chat. This is nice.
Which he himself has said is powered by the Rift. It's definitely not concrete enough to be evidence. It could literally just be him making a mistake, but it's interesting to say the least. That, though, brings us to the biggest bit of evidence we have. What prompted me to make this video and start reading way too far into innocuous things like forgetting to press record. I'll play the clip in full here because it's weird.
All there is left to say is thank you very much. No, I know what's gonna happen. I didn't.
Oh yes.
Die.
This was weird.
Now that's weird.
God, I love the Animagician's covering this, fam. Because again, we react to this live, and we talked about this. So he was acting so sus, and then at the end, like, it's almost like he gets stung by like a pufferfish. If I remember, I think the whole screen goes black, and it's almost like a haze or something. Like this, just listen to him. I'm gonna restart this part because he acts sus, chat.
Weird.
All there is left to say is
he 100%, just watches. He falls in that on purpose, chat. He's standing right in front of it.
I'll play the clip in full here because it's weird.
All there is left to say is thank you very much. No, I know what's gonna happen. I didn't die. Now that's weird.
Right? Who's
I guess I'll see you. That's really taken me by surprise. I thought I was gonna die. Well, I'll see you guys in the next episode.
I was about to say, doesn't
just happen to me? Ah!
Landscaping your mind, Chapter 1. You
Then it goes
are
back to the ad read.
sitting in a field, surrounded by
Good times with
grass
ska.
blades, ebbing
Ska.
and flowing through the gusts of your imagination. Each of those blades represent a past life, memories, desires, dreams, and past loves. By plucking one, you shall reveal.
Okay, what? First we have Grian thinking that he was about to die and then somehow being saved by the rift. Then he gets blindness and the screen goes black, which I think is a way to simulate blacking out or fainting. And then we go back to Scar's audiobook, Landscaping Your Mind. Let's...
Now, I don't know. I wasn't looking into the ad read, so it's literally the video was sponsored by Audible. So Grian did this fun thing where he made a commercial for an Audible book called Landscaping Your Mind. Mumbo filmed it, was, you know, the director. Scar narrated it. Like, it was amazing. Again, I reacted to it and I put just my reaction of Landscaping Your Mind up because it's literally probably the best ad read I've ever seen. It's amazing.
Hop into my theory then, shall we?
think
This
there's
is
any
what
lore
I
on it,
think
though.
is happening, and it all starts with what Scar says. He talks about being in a field surrounded by grass, with each blade representing a past life. Almost like Grian has access to hundreds, if not thousands, of different versions of himself, with Scar encouraging him to landscape his mind, to find the best blades of grass, the best lives, and prune out the worst. What's giving Grian this power, however, is the entity, the first thing he built on the server, which, if you'll remember, takes the best parts of what's inside it and uses them to grow. Grian built the rift in actuality, but I think story-wise, the entity created the rift to allow Grian to travel between not just worlds, but realities. The entity...
Okay, hold on. So I don't know if I can vibe with the ad read part. Again, it was just a fun ad read. I don't think there's much to look into that. But I will agree, like Grian has even talked about the entity as it's an entity, you know, it's just weird, it absorbs stuff. Same thing with the rift. Like, we know weird stuff's happening this season, but I don't know about the ad read though. I think that was just an ad read. Like, it wasn't meant to physically, you know, or, you know, like really Grian should landscape his mind. It was just a fun ad read.
Created the rift, and every time Grian shifts realities, it has an opportunity to take something from there as well. Hence the huge rock it has in preparation for all the shifting it's going to do, built directly above the rift, which Grian again literally described as powering the area around his base. The rift had a Mumbo face in it because the first time Grian used it, he was going to try and get a Mumbo from a different reality to come back to ours. Hence the mustache it had up until Mumbo joined back, at which point Grian no longer needed that to work. Scar's audiobook is what's keeping Grian sane as he travels between realities. Ask open-ended questions to try and gather information about the reality you're in. Keep bouncing. I mean, this kind of sounds like keep moving. Keep bouncing between realities and don't get yourself stuck or attached to one.
No, hold on. That's definitely a play of words. Like, he was literally just saying, like, he even told me to bounce on this ball. Like, I think that's, I don't know. I think that's looking a little too much into it. Tell him to, he's like, yeah, he told me to bounce around. And then Annie says that means bounce between the realities. I don't know.
Ones that aren't yours. Chapter 2's message is a little more vague, but I think what it's implying is that the actual world, the earth, the structures, that kind of thing, are what link Grian back to his reality, our reality. The myths, or in this case, the rift, help link Grian back to where he came from. That's absolutely a stretch, but let's keep moving. Grian, while reality hopping to find a Mumbo, stumbled across an alternate reality in which the moon never crashed into HermitCraft Season 8. This means that Grian and Mumbo's interaction with the soul thing was never reset as Doc and Renbob took the hermits out of the simulation that was HermitCraft Season 8. If you're a bit confused here, don't worry, it's not too important, but essentially the moon not crashing into Season 8 meant that Mumbo kept that little bit of Grian's soul, and that soul link led to the Mumbo from a different planet following Grian back through the rift. This also brings us back to what I mentioned earlier. Remember how Mumbo's new username doesn't have the Jumbo anymore? Well, back when Mumbo's channel actually started in the real world, it was actually run by 2 people, and crucially, he was the Jumbo half of Mumbo Jumbo.
What? I did not know this.
Mumbo, as in the very part that was lost that he no longer has. Why? Because he isn't fully himself. Because, in reality, there is a part of Grian still inside him. I don't think it's a stretch at all to assume that season hopping is what Grian is doing through the rift, especially since we know that the megabase, Dwayne if you will, is taking things from the places Grian has traveled to, and if we look at Grian's base, the inspiration feels almost obvious. I didn't see it until finding this.
But hear me out. Okay, Annie. I don't know, bro. This is good. Okay, I'm just being real here. I wasn't really buying the season hopping but bro, how did I not see this? And it could just be a coincidence, but I've always thought this is such a weird thing to build on this rock. It just doesn't go with it. It doesn't at all look like it belongs there. So, okay, Animagician.
Reddit post, but the dome, the variation on the roof, the cross that looks almost exactly like the architect's logo from season 6. I find it hard to believe that that wasn't intentional. I mean, look at the legs of the entity. If this is based off a bee, why does it share a build palette with the octagon from last season? A build palette commonality that Grian himself pointed
Wait, did he say it's based off of a bee? He didn't say that. He said it's based off of a spider.
pointed out. Why isn't it yellow and black without...
It's 100% not a bee. The entity, he even said he added spider legs to it. So, I mean, yeah. Am I wrong? I don't remember him saying it was a bee. 100% a spider. I think. Now, Animagician, now you got me second guessing myself, bruh.
the myths, the rift, whatever was keeping Grian stable. Perhaps the audiobook, the other realities Mumbo, let's call him Mumbo Prime, is completely prone to the effect of literally
Mumbo
shifting
Prime,
realities,
I like
hence
that.
the switch in names. It would also explain some other things that have been going on the server. Perhaps the side effects of the reality bending energy of the entity and the rift is the reason for things like Impulse finding a random battle axe near where he's planning to make a base and then turning into a dwarf, or B-Dubs finding a huge basement under his base with a magical seed for a tree of whimsy.
Dude, yes, that is crazy. And again, we've had so much weird stuff. So again, I have been reacting to B-Dubs on Twitch as well. And yeah, this tree of whimsy, like, it was a seed. And this isn't just this was a massive build under his base. Like, I can't even fathom how long it took him to click. You guys got to see this. It is something like Lord of Rings-esque under his base. And it was all built for this seed, to hold the seed of whimsy, which he then planted, which something's going to come from this tree. It's the tree of whimsy, and God, it's the most beautiful tree ever, but it's
of course,
crazy.
these hermits have made these themselves off camera for the sake of the story, but they have very interesting implications given Grian's lore. And I think, this is super speculation by the way, that there are a few possible reasons that Grian didn't die at the end of his episode. Perhaps the energy of all the past lives that emanates from the rift managed to keep Grian alive. Or maybe the fact that Mumbo Prime is on the server, complete with a small amount of Grian's soul. Perhaps Mumbo Prime acted like one of the Horcruxes from Harry Potter, keeping Grian an inch from death when he should be completely gone. I mean, Grian did literally build Diagon Alley in season 8. It might, however, just be Grian's powers starting to show their effects even more. Because if you listen to what he's saying while he's falling again, he says, I know what's going to happen here. Not screaming, not trying to boat clutch or MLG water, accepting his fate, saying that he knows what's going to happen, almost as if he saw an alternate reality.
He was
in
totally
which he
expecting to die, though.
Okay, but what next? It's really hard to say for sure. The nature of HermitCraft is that actual interactions feed into lore, which feed back into actual interactions, creating a truly unpredictable story loop unless it's planned out ahead of time. However, I think the whole vault stealing challenge that Grian and Mumbo Prime have going on right now is the way forward story-wise. Somehow, Grian is going to break into Mumbo Prime's vault and in the process of stealing his riches, steal back the part of his soul that Mumbo Prime has inside of him. The energy from that literal soul transfer creates a sort of shockwave, opening up the rift even more, resetting the reality we're in, sending Mumbo Prime back and replacing him with our normal Mumbo. The newly widened
Jumbo.
Rift, however, will continue to power the surroundings, causing more and more chaos around the server as it brings in inspirations and storylines from other realities, and that sounds insanely fun to watch. If you're a HermitCraft enjoyer, you might enjoy this Lost Life video, or you might have fun learning how a loft made one teenager downright famous. Subscribe.
Let's go. Okay, Annie, you know what, fam? I'm not gonna lie. This one took me a little bit longer to sell me on. Like, most of his Dream SMP theories, I think, are pretty spot on, and I've loved them. This one took me a smidge longer to believe, because it was kind of a little out there, you know, but especially with that Reddit post with the pictures, and because if you guys are watching this, most of you have been watching Grian's, or probably most Hermits, and Grian, it's been weird, and he's been saying the whole season, like, you know, we got some weird stuff going on, I got a lot of surprises, and he's just always, he's talked about the Rift weird, and when he's down there, it's just the vibes are different, you know? This whole thing, you know, with Mumbo and Mumbo Prime, and I mean, I guess we'll see what happens, because, you know, Grian's tried breaking into Mumbo's base once, died, because it was a trap, and then Mumbo's doing another one, but Mumbo hasn't uploaded, I think, in a couple weeks, if I remember correctly. I don't know if he's just taking his time, which is totally fine. Like, he's literally uploaded, yeah, it's been 3 weeks. Actually, it's been 4 weeks since a HermitCraft video, but, you know, the dude's uploaded, he said something consistently for like 8 years, every week for 8 years. Like, the dude's earned a break, so, but we'll see. Like, this brings up a lot of weird and crazy questions I never thought of. So Animagician, thank you, fam. I will keep my eye open, and now I'm gonna be, God, this is just what I need, fam. Like, whenever I hear like ARG or crazy lore, like, then I'm watching, like, I'm gonna be watching Grian's new, which we need to react to his newest one, but I'm always watching like, oh, what's that? Oh, Animagician said this, oh. So now I'm gonna be paranoid, and I'm gonna be watching even harder to see like what I can figure out, because Animagician really brought up some good points. I'm not saying all of them I 100% believe, but most of them. Again, we'll just see what happens with the Mumbo Prime, and, you know, if the Rift, if he breaks into the safe, if the Rift opens up, and then who knows what's coming out of there. But I had an absolute blast reacting to this. Make sure you show Animagician some love and subscribe to his channel. And if you enjoy my reaction, please help support the channel by smashing that subscribe and like button. It's absolutely free, and it greatly helps out the channel. Enjoy the rest of your day, and remember, it's eat, sleep, and make beats, and as usual, be kind to one another. Oh, my hand movements are off. Remember, boom, I'm out. I don't know, boom, I'm out, fam. I totally messed it up. I love you guys. Peace out.